So everything looks really good here for us to attach our waistband. As we explained before, we're going to be doing about a 1/4 inch for the seam here, right? So by the time we make that seam and we put it on, it will be exactly at the beginning of the waistband. Going all the way around, all the way around. And we have to also do a seam here, and we must have a little piece, maybe about another 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch to overlap and button to complete our skirt part. So this is what we're going to do now. We're gonna base on the first part, leaving a little 1/2 inch there, right? We're going to base this all the way around, lying down this way, so that when we finish stitching here and we lift it up, there'll be a nice neat seam there. So let's go. So 1/2 inch, keeping the edge there. The good thing we iron down our pleats so they're not going to bulk up on us. We already sewed them down as well, so they're not going to shift. Very good. Some people skip those parts, but then when you reach here and you haven't done those things, it can present some problems. Some people like a thicker waistband. If you do, just cut your waistband a little thicker. I think this was 2.5 inches. You can cut it 3 inches, 3.5. A thicker waistband looks nice as well. Right, so we barely have a little seam and a little lap over. That's fine. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, this piece goes to the back here, right? Goes to the seam. So I'm coming up here with my seam, and then we're going all the way with it right here, right? So we can base this again, or we can just hold it in place because we already based these two. For those who are doing it for the first time, like we said, basing again, be a good idea. Do it just for your sakes. It could be a bit tedious sometimes. Okay, so we're gonna base the other part underneath. This is to prevent any slipping while you are. Now remember, our seam come up this way, so let me just base this way here. If you have problems with it staying in place, stick a few pins before you start this part. So we already based down the two parts that we're going to use for the waistband. Why the waistband is also going to be faced for a very neat finish. You'll see when we're finished. Now, when we are finished putting the seam here, what we're really going to be doing is lifting this up, and that will be the waistband. So we have to be very careful when we sew in here that this stitch does not show when we're finished. So when we sew in here, it will be a 1/2 inch, yes. But let's make sure that we stay just below that line, and we have to know where we put that sewing there, right? So it will be like a little more than 1/2 inch, right? Just a little more than 1/2 inch. So let's start here. So we go in, right? We have that 1/4 inch there. See? Stop right where we want. Okay, I went a little bit past, so let me just go back a little bit. No harm in that, right? We can go back and start where we want to come across. Just make sure you knot it before you continue. Now, as I said, we already sew a 1/4 inch inside here. All right, for the first seam on the pleats. We don't want that seam showing when we sew this, so we have to come in just a little bit more. All right, you have to not it as I because I just shifted it a bit, right? We're coming in just a little bit more than we came in, than the 1/2 inch that we sewed down on the pleats alone. Why are we doing that? We want this seam to be a little bit outside of that seam. So when we turn it over, we don't see anything underneath. It's very neat. So let's go. See, I'm keeping just a little lip out there. If I turn this backwards, I must not see that first seam that I put on it, you see? It's very neat. You don't want to see anything when you lift this up. So that's why it's important to come out just a little bit more than the 1/2 inch that you put, the 1/2 inch seam allowance that you put on the pleats alone, right? So let's go. Right. A good way to estimate that is to keep a little edge of material on the outside. Because when you were sewing now this is something that can happen when you're sewing. You see this? The material is bulking. Now what I would advise you to do is keep flattening it out. Keep flattening it out. Keep flattening it out. Because you don't want, if you sew across that bulge, it's like a little, you'll get a little pleat on top of your waistband, which is not going to look good at all. Right? So just keep flattening it out. If it comes a place where you can't flatten it anymore, what you want to do is clip your base thread to loosen it again. Okay, let me go in. Don't be afraid to clip your base thread. It could always be removed. The base thread is just to help keep it down, right? So clip it a bit to give you that freedom. Again, you're leaving a little edge outside there so that you're just a little bit inside of the first seam that you did. Right, so this is working out fine because when I first based it, it was a little uneven. So by the time I'm finished sewing and this is pushing down, it's coming back to the original. Like both of these pieces of cloth were cut at the same. Just got a little tip here on how to do your corners so that it will be really very neat. You could try it, I never did, but I will after this. When we sew in here, it's advised that you go straight off to the end of the cloth. And then to do this seam, you come back to the top here and come straight down. And somehow, when you turn it over, your corners are neater. So try it. We're going to remove the base thread now. Cut it a bit to free it up. One of them, because we have base both sides, so it's 2 base thread actually we're supposed to be removing. The reason why we're doing all of that is because we really want it to be neat, especially for those who are doing this for the first time. Now before we turn it over, we have some corners here, and one of the things we do with the corners, we clip the corners such a triangle. Do not clip Your seam, it will tear at that point. You just go in close and take off that excess material there. So when you turn it over, it will not bulk. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. If you cannot get there neat, you can just use like a scissors, the point of a scissors, and just sort of put it inside here, and just sort of send out your point. Not too much. If you find one part is coming out too much, you can just push it back in, and when you iron it, it should be fine. I really like my tips very neat. Okay, so when we iron it down, it wouldn't be bad. Okay, so here we go. This is your waistband. If you notice, you are not seeing any seams there. So I'm barely seeing this one here. Right, but hopefully when we iron it down, it should not be noticeable. Also, if you use the same color thread as your material, you know, it doesn't look that bad. So those are the areas to be very careful about. Just to make a nice skirt. You want it nice and neat. Okay, so here is our skirt waistband. Right, so if you notice, this is the lip here. So some people, when they sew this, they want to put their lip like over, right? The longer part over, but it doesn't necessarily have to go over. In our case, it will not fall properly if it goes over because the zip actually is this way. So we can put the extra flap underneath, that's not a problem. So we will put our buttonhole here, our button underneath, and we button it like this. And it still looks just as great. Right, so you have to watch what you do. If we were paying attention to that, we really wanted the lap to be from this side, then we should have extended, the extension should have come on this side. And this side should have been done the exact, starting at this exact point, or waistband should have started, and so that the extension will come on this side. But that didn't happen, so it's okay, the extension can go underneath and the button at that, no problem. So I'm going to base this now because we want to iron it to be easier. So when we iron and steam, especially when we're doing these kinds of things, suiting materials and so on, it's very important. It looks very good. Now, when we're basting these two pieces of cloth together, we have to push it out. We have to push it out as much as we want it to go out. This side, we want to keep it neat, so, right? Make sure you press up the cloth like back and the front. Your hands must do the work here. So you want to steam this down here? Easier for us. We steam on the floor.